yet another time there was absolutely no show in Stand With Justin Trudeau's rally in Surrey in Canada. CNN News 18 has actually managed to access the visuals where there is absolutely no show for the rally. You can only see 4 or 5 protesters, that too with links with Pakistan, supported by Pakistani ISI. This is the big breaking news of the hour, that there is absolutely no show. Justin Trudeau is basically on a sinking ship. His popularity is on decline. There was absolutely no show in Stand With Justin Trudeau in his rally in Surrey in Canada. CNN News 18 is flashing the exclusive visuals that we have accessed, where almost no show was there on Justin Trudeau's rally. Only 4 or 5 protesters were there, as you can see in the visuals that we are flashing on your screens as well. These protesters are also supported by Pakistan ISI. I have Abhishek Jha, who continues to be with me on the phone line. Abhishek, what exactly is happening in this visual? There is absolutely nobody supporting there Justin Trudeau.
So there was apparently this rally that was called in support of Justin Trudeau ever since he has leveled those serious allegations on India and its agencies in the killing of Hardeep Singh Nijjar. So there was this group which is closely associated with Pakistan and ISI who had called for this rally in support of Justin Trudeau in Surrey. The Rahat Rai, who has been one of the organizers of the rally, has a close ISI link, and in the past also it has been reported that several of ISI team members have visited him and stayed at his place. So they were trying to organize a rally to show and exhibit their support that Justin Trudeau has been on right path, and this is the kind of support that he is having on the issue of allegation that he has put against India. But there was no show. That means on the reality, on the ground, people are not convinced what Justin Trudeau has tried to allege against India. So no matter how much political rhetoric he's trying to spin and how much of ISI supported Khalistani violent extremist group he's trying to rally in support of him, there is hardly any support on the ground, hardly any support from the normal common people who live there, the Sikh community who live there, and there were just few propagandists who were, for their vested interest, being part of the political circle of Justin Trudeau's party, who were in support of there, and there were a handful of people who did reach out, who did reach for this rally, and that shows the kind of not convincing or no support Justin Trudeau has getting in Canada on these allegations and diplomatic row that he has created with India.
And apparently that sinking ship is basically the reason behind his desperate attacks against India as well. Thank you so much, Abhishek, for joining us and bringing us all those crucial details. Now, amidst escalating tensions between India and Canada, global reactions continue to pour in. My colleague Shivani Gupta spoke with former Pentagon official Michael Rubin on the Western hypocrisy on terrorism and taking out targets on foreign soil as well. Listen into that conversation.
Michael, you've written about how Khalistani sympathizers and secessionists have found shelter in Canada, and how Canada is the weak link as far as terror financing and terror funding, clamping down on terror funding in the world is concerned. Could you tell us more of what you found, and why do you think, particularly in Canada, the Sikh separatist movement is finding so much political support?
Well, first of all, with regard to your previous question, this is where I would actually agree with you, that perhaps the United States, not perhaps, the United States and Canada and many in the West do embrace double standards. For example, when it comes to identification of terrorists, when it comes to terror finance. When we look at the Financial Action Task Force, which an international body which monitors terror finance, if we're going to use consistent standards, absolutely, Canada should be on the gray list, if not the blacklist, because of what it's been allowing to happen with regard to Khalistani extremism. You have, the Khalistani extremist movement, one thing which diplomats need to understand is not every separatist movement is legitimate. Let me make an example. I'll put on my history nerd cap to the Katanga separatism in Congo. That was wholly financed by Belgian financiers who wanted a cut of the copper income. In this case, when we hear about the Khalistanis, it's important to recognize that the only people who are interested in Khalistani separatism are few activists overseas, mostly in Canada, perhaps a few in California, but not in India itself. And we need to recognize just how illegitimate this movement is. Unfortunately, Canada has not been Justin Trudeau, in this case, he's losing an election. There's Sikhs and Khalistani activists in very specific swing districts. He's basically throwing international relations and Canada's moral standpoint under the bus for the sake of cheap politics.
Mm-hmm. You spoke about double standards and hypocrisy. Now, another thing this episode is shining a light is on taking out enemical targets on foreign soil. A lot of people in India and around the world are talking about that even if India was behind the Niger killing, someone who's prescribed a terrorist in India, what is so wrong about it when countries like US and others have also taken out targets on foreign soil?
Well, I'm not a diplomat, so let me call it as I see it. I think in this case, the Indians are absolutely right. I haven't seen evidence to suggest that the Indians took out Niger, but I'll be the first one to say in the United States that if they did, more power to them. Niger was a terrorist. He had blood on his hands. Now, I don't want to be morally equivalent and say that every country can take out its adversaries in every other country, but I'll make an exception for democracies. The United States is a democracy, and we did it. India is a democracy. And the key thing with both the United States and India is this isn't the tool of first resort. India tried extradition. India tried diplomatic mediation, and Justin Trudeau was irresponsible. I don't care who the Prime Minister of India is, it's the job of a democratically elected Prime Minister to protect their people. And that's what Prime Minister Modi was doing in this case, if he were indeed involved. But again, I've seen no evidence to suggest that. That's what the United States has done when it took out Abu Bakr al-Baghdadi or Qasem Soleimani or Osama bin Laden. It's different than the Iranians coming or the Pakistanis coming and assassinating, for example, in Pakistan's case, allegedly Karima Baluch in Toronto. And again, Justin Trudeau has to explain why he's been so silent in that case.